Yeah, so in this little mod video, I went from drums to disc. But originally the trailer, the HQ15, came with 5-stud rim that was underrated to carry that trailer. And it amazes me that how you can get a product into the US and not go through some kind of ministry safety check to ensure that that vehicle is safe to carry around, to tow. It's not. It wasn't. Now they did want to send me another set of rims, which was still barely adequate. And when you get a flat on the 15, it drops like a bomb and the rims are shot. So that's how good the rims are. They're not. So I end up actually too going to an 8-stud pattern with a much stronger hub and bearing set in order to match my 7.3's 8-stud rims, so I can make the tires interchangeable. But even at that, I spent a lot of money on brakes on that truck because they were still not adequate to stop that trailer. Now I know some people went with 6.5K disc brakes, but I do a lot of mountain climbing. I do a lot of back and forth between Canada and the US. I full-time, and I don't always drive on these nice little roads in the BLM land or Forest Service roads. So I wanted a set of brakes I know will stop. So I got the 7K 8-stud oil bath brakes. It's a one-time deal, and I'm going to tell you, it does make a huge difference. That trailer will stop now. So this is just a quick video. And also the bushings. These are upgraded bushings that Bill Hall went to a lot of trouble to find, because there's a variance in the bushings. Some are really soft and deteriorate rapidly, and some don't. And in my case, you'll see. I've been doing this 4.5 years now. Well, actually 5 in March. So here we go. Disc brakes. Just removing the second drum. These are the heavier duty drums and what came, or hubs that came with the trailer. They were 8-volt and a much beefier hub. I was happy with them in that sense, but the braking, you know, to brake almost 7,000 pounds extra beyond the truck with just 2 wheels, I just never felt that it was doing enough. So we're going to 13-inch disc brakes, 9/16 studs, instead of the half that's on my truck, because these Alcoa rims will take the 9/16, and by going to 9/16, it's a bigger hub, a more robust oil bath system. So we're bringing it. We're breaking it. And so right now the trailer is basically suspended. So I've had to lower down some of the covering in order to be able to run the copper lines from the front back to the wheels to the disc brakes. And see, I had one shock that's bad at least. Replace it with the Ranchos, adjustable Ranchos. I talked to a few people, and instead of using just OEM replacement shocks to go with these, people at their Racing Summit said that those were better, so I'll stick with them. And the way I'm holding this trailer up is the boss. So, pretty goopy in there. I'm gonna try and power wash it to get that rubber grommet out. And there's a metal washer underneath that. I don't know if that's intended to be a spacer or what it is, but it's not much of one. And we'll see if these bushings look as good as the other ones and can act as additional spares. These shocks have been on here. Well, the inside one's been on there at least 2 years now, and the outside one's been on for about a year. So the wetness is from WD-40, just to make sure that it makes the bolts easier to get on and off. And I keep them set at max. I don't adjust them. They're adjustable type. So we have it. And here we go. Even with my brake controller set to full, the drums would not lock up the trailer even in gravel. Well, it turns out my bushings are actually in pretty decent shape. And Bill said that my bushings were significantly firmer, not near as soft as his bushings. So that's cool. So I thought it was going to be black, but it's silver, which is fine because that'll make the red paint that goes on top of this after the second coat will take less to cover up if it were black. Although some people might prefer the silver, but for now I'm good with the red. I like the red. Now, as far as what I use, this is what I cleaned off the arms, the A-arms, and applied 3 coats, I believe, of this rust encapsulator, both the primer, and then I applied their red paint as well. Bill Hull said he used it on his gate, I believe, out front at his laneway, and so it was holding up great, so I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. Or a spray. Mind you, most of the time, these are so covered in dirt and mud, I actually thought they were more corroded than they really were. Although the one that's been on there for 4 years is pretty beaten up as far as chips into the paint and what have you. So, like some of these tubes almost have a ribbon in them.
They do. Okay, you're watching, right?
Yep. Well, that's pretty slick.
You've been trained.
So, and then pin-wise, does it
Put
go
some
in?
grease inside.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty slick jig, I gotta say.
A little all-threaded tool. Did you put any grease on these?
No, I haven't.
You don't need a lot, so just a little bit.
That's the manual I got. Just a sneak peek. It's not a professional paint job, but hey. One of the things you'll get asked is if your backing plate is held on by 4 or 5 bolts. In this case, 5 for the 15. Now I had to clean out the grease out of the bearings since I was going with oil bath, but otherwise the hub is installed like your standard hub. Okay, this is where I normally have my cooler. We got it out for now, and then the lines coming up from the rear of the trailer for the disc brakes. I got to install a block here just to hold that out. We've got these wires secured. There's a lot of extra wire, or copper tubing rather, and none of us have a really good, what do you call it, flaring kit. So this is sort of our deal for now. And then the harness has been made here to get tied into the brake controller on the trailer. I'll do that. Lines from the left and the right come to the center block and then out to the front. The black is some protective sheathing Bill had lying about. Tomorrow we're going to get the shocks on. Right now I've got the oil bath ready and filled up. We'll have to run it a little bit and check the level, which is a clear glass, so that makes it easy to check. And then this cap pops off for filling. And also we're going to put the shocks on tomorrow. We added another link to the chain, and you can see the disc brakes here. Kind of a different view from on the other side. So we got the disc brake installed, bled. My cooler can go back in here, fridge freezer type cooler, and move on with that. We've set the alignment, brakes are bled. I've been here long enough for a couple of these hives to happen. So yeah, while I had the arms off, so I have the new cam bolts in. I have flanged live nylon nuts instead, and I replaced the bushings thanks to Bill, and painted up those arms. Just a few things on the alignment that Bill Hall pointed out to me. One is that when you tighten up your bolts and set your alignment, tighten the bolts, after time when you go to redo it, check the washers. I'm going to almost guarantee, at least on the 15s, that those washers are deformed. They've been concaved, because initially when you tighten them, it all looks good, but in time, that is how it becomes loose. It's because the washers themselves aren't thick enough. So in this upgrade, we put on flange bolts for the camber bolt, cam bolt, and also thicker washers. Because I've had to adjust my alignment bolts quite regularly, and I paint them so I know that when they are out of alignment, I can check. I do a quick visual check, and we're good to go. Thanks, Bill. Ooh.